Good morning, everyone. My name is Salle University, and I'm a training coordinator at the Temple Small Business Development Center. The Temple SBDC helps small businesses start and grow. We do this through our no-cost webinars such as this and other training programs. We are proud to be part of a nationally accredited network of SBDCs with over 1,000 centers across the US. You have joined us today for our Marketing Momentum webinar on the topic, How to Close the Year and Kickstart 2026. A follow-up email will be automatically sent to all attendees within the next 2 business days after this meeting with the necessary materials for the meeting. All attendees are muted currently. However, we encourage that you put in your questions in the Q&A chat so that after the presentation, our host can answer all the questions. Now, I leave the floor to Gabriella, who is going to be the presenter for this webinar. So, Gabriella, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our Marketing Momentum webinar. I'm going to share the presentation. If you want to take a moment, introduce yourself in the chat, share your business name and your industry. I like to provide some examples tailored to your businesses as we go through today's presentation. So please feel free to introduce yourself, share your business name, and we can go from there. Before we get started, I want to just share just a little bit about the Temple University Small Business Development Center, what we do here, and all of the clients that we serve. So we've been serving the small business community since 1983. We serve Philadelphia and Montgomery counties, and we provide no-cost confidential services to new businesses, entrepreneurs that are just starting their business, and we provide support through every stage of your business growth. We're able to provide the no-cost services through our funding partners. That includes the United States Small Business Administration, the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, Temple University, who is our host institution, and we're also an accredited member of America's SBDC. And through our services, we can help your business both start, grow, and prosper. So we're here to serve you through every stage of your business. So I just want to share a little bit about our consulting services. After we go through this presentation, if you would like to work with one of the consultants here at our center, it's very easy to do. You can follow this QR code that's on the presentation right now and sign up for no-cost consulting. It's confidential. Whatever you work on with your consultant remains that way. You can meet our consultants at one of our campuses. We have our main campus here on Broad Street. We also have a campus in Center City, Philadelphia, as well as Temple Ambler in Montgomery County. And we do a lot of our consulting work as well virtually if Zoom is a better option for you. And what we do is we decide, what is the most pressing matter for your business, and then we focus on building out a plan for that. So if you're just starting, now's a great time to develop your business plan. We can also help you if you're looking to grow your business, you want to get into government contracting, you need some help with financing or applying for loans, you want to discuss growth, marketing, whatever area it is for your business, we're here to support you in that. We also are able to provide a lot of resources and training, many at no cost. Today, we begin National Veteran Small Business Week. The U.S. Small Business Administration is offering a lot of programming and webinars throughout this week. If you are, a veteran, you want to start your business or grow your business, contact our office. We're here to support you in that. We also will be hosting many webinars as we go throughout the end of this Q4. So if you're one of the entrepreneurs just starting your business, we have 2 steps, mapping the business concept and concept to plan. We'll offer both of those in November and December. Marketing related wise, we'll have a speaker from Google talking about getting your business on Google search and maps on December 4th. A big area for small businesses is avoiding contract pitfalls. So we'll have a webinar with a local attorney December 9th if you want to register for that. We'll also have 2 sessions on year-end finances and really setting your business up for success as we approach 2026. And we also will have, especially for Philadelphia small businesses, we will offer a webinar on December 10th. We'll have speakers from the Philadelphia Department of Commerce and Department of Revenue talking about some tax changes for this year. So definitely make sure that you register for that. Again, you can learn more about our webinars at the QR code available. It's available through our website. And you can also have access to webinars that are happening across our network. We are one of 15 centers here in Pennsylvania. So no matter what zip code you're in the United States, there is a local SBDC to serve small businesses there. So I want to start out with, before we getting into marketing momentum, keeping that momentum from Q4 into the new year, just want to start with a quick review on marketing and what to always remember, even before we maybe, engage with one of the strategies that we're going to talk about today. So just as, what is marketing? The basic of it. It's how you're showing people what your business offers, why it matters to them, and how it fits into their life. So just always think about marketing as everything under that umbrella. It's really everything that touches your customer. It can be your products, your services, your branding, emails that you send, your website, social media content, any type of public relations or advertising that you do, your customer service. All of that is your marketing. The most important thing to consider is to really know your customer. Now, of course, we would like everyone to be our customer, but if we're marketing to everyone, you're essentially marketing to no one. So we really want to think about who's our ideal customer, and you really want to identify that. And how do you solve the customer's problem? Your customers have all the answers for your business. So you really want to think about, what's their problem? What's their pain points? And how is your business helping to solve that? You want to think about, where are they on social media? Where are they by location? And that's where you want to make sure your business is. And you want to focus any of your marketing messaging, again, that you're sharing on social media, your emails, advertising, phone calls, anytime you're working with your customers, you want to focus on the benefits of your product or service and make sure you're using the correct channels to meet them. Think about, again, what social media platforms are they on? This will really help you not just focus your resources and your budget, but most importantly your time. Marketing can take up a lot of time when you're creating content, so you really want to make sure that you're utilizing the best messaging, you're communicating how you're solving your customers' problems and pain points, and using the correct channels to reach them. And we'll go back to this as we go throughout today's presentation and talk about strategies for continuing your marketing momentum. And lastly, just again to recap marketing and the importance of it for our small businesses, is to really focus on your unique value proposition, your UVP. Okay, so think about your business and think about, who do you help? What do you offer that helps them? And why is it better, different, unique from competitors in the marketplace? This is what sets your business apart. It's your secret sauce for your business. And again, you want to think about all of those factors, especially when you're crafting your messaging through your marketing. So think about who you're helping, and you're going to communicate that, how you're offering your product or service, and how you're doing it uniquely or better or different from your competitors. Keep all of this in mind as we go through the different marketing strategies. It's just going to make that even more powerful. Okay, so we're going to get into focusing on keeping the momentum through this quarter, and we're going to kickstart 2026 for our businesses. Now, it's really important because this is the time where small businesses can lose momentum. The holidays are a very busy time of year, both for your business, for personal, and it's really hard to just continue that momentum. But we're going to review these 5 strategies, 5 things to keep in mind to really help keep that. It's so important because January is such a high intention month, right? Everyone's setting their goals, everyone's setting their resolutions. People want to invest, they want to make changes. So we want to really make sure that we're leveraging our businesses and doing that. So here are the 5 strategies. One, we want to leverage Small Business Saturday, which is coming up in 4 weeks. So we do have time to really take advantage um, of that promotional opportunities. Also consider running a final promotion or a holiday campaign if that fits your business. We also want to discuss to conduct a year-end marketing audit. You might want to consider doing this type of audit for your business overall. Today, we'll just talk about the specific marketing aspect of it and why it's so important. And it's really going to help inform you and make any decisions as we go to that next step, crafting your 2026 marketing plan. Now is the best time to do it. We'll have it all prepared, and we're going to discuss how to really implement that in smaller 90-day strategies. This way, we're avoiding any overwhelm. It's really difficult to think about, we just want to get through, this Q4. Thinking about next year, we're going to, go over some steps where we can do that with always keeping our overall goals in mind, as well as the steps to help us achieve those. And now is a great time in November that we want to start planning our January marketing content now. We can even talk about tools to help us schedule it. This way, it's done. We have a lot of things to do as small business owners during this time. We can help alleviate that by planning and scheduling our content well ahead. This way, we're not worrying about the day of. It's done for us, and we can focus on other aspects of our business. So, leveraging Small Business Saturday, we could certainly spend our hour today just talking about Small Business Saturday in particular. There are a lot of webinars that our network is offering throughout this month. So, please. Go to our website. You'll find tons of Small Business Saturday webinars that are coming up this month. If you want to learn some more strategies for leveraging it for your business, but today we'll go over some of the immediate resources. So mark your calendars. It's November 29th this year. It's a great way to really highlight your business, stand out there for customers, but take it one step further. Create a whole Shop Small week campaign for your business, or do a whole month. We still have 4 weeks here in November. Really leverage Small Business Saturday. This is a great opportunity to tell your small business story. Tell the story of your business. Share, why it's so important to support small businesses this season and this quarter. And just for some ideas, we have a lot of resources at our PA SBDC website. If you want to scan this QR code or copy this link, pasbdc.org /holiday guide. This is available right now for small businesses. It really contains a ton of resources. You'll get insights for this holiday season. You'll get tips on how to prepare, really leverage your digital presence, have great customer service, really creative promotions and experiences, as well as some tips for Small Business Saturday in particular. And also included in the guide are content calendars, which are essential when you're thinking about, coming up with content and to plan. So, um, again, download the guide. It's available. This will give you a lot of different ideas if you're thinking about different content to share or how to tell your story or highlight your business as we're going through the next couple of weeks leading up to Small Business Saturday. And really use this as a springboard to really, go through the holiday season and, really spread Q1 growth. So here are just some ideas as you're planning that. You can create a limited time offer. You can have an open house event, a special shopping event, or bundle of your services or your products leading into Small Business Saturday. Think about any associations you're a member of, chambers of commerce, if you're in Philadelphia or Montgomery County, a specific, business district you might be located in. What are some nearby promotions that are happening that you can, be a part of? Or collaborate with either nearby businesses on your corridor or maybe businesses that you often work with that you can really cross promote, right? It's a great way to lead up to Small Business Saturday to, highlight a few of your favorite small businesses. Tell their story. You can really cross promote. They can do the same for you, and you're able to really utilize that marketing opportunity. You can also use a lot of specific local hashtags. Check into it before you start using them. General guidance is to utilize 3 to 5 on Instagram, Facebook, but use those shop small, shop local paired with, your specific local location. And again, there might be some other ones that either your corridor, your business association or organization is using, but you can really utilize those hashtags again to add to your comments. I'm just going to take a pause and check out our chat just so I can make sure that I'm answering any questions as we go through today's. Yes, we will share the link to um, the guide that's available. Welcome to everyone. We have a lot of different industries and organizations joining us. Welcome, everyone. And yes, after today, we will share an email that'll have a link to all of the resources available. So, the second item that we want to talk about, and again, really think about what's appropriate for your business. Does it fit into your brand or to your industry? But now is a great time where you can run a final promotion or even a holiday campaign to really close the year out strong and really get that extra business um, for your organization. So here are just some ideas. You could do a limited time discount. This is a great way to really measure your sales. If you offer something for a specific period of time, see how many times it's redeemed. Again, bundling is a great idea. If you have either services you can bundle, lock in your 2025 rate as you're going into the new year, bundle a couple of your products together for, easy to give gifts, treat yourself. Maybe you're bundling it with maybe some other local businesses on your corridor or bundling services. Again, if it makes sense and aligns with your business. You can also run some, loyalty campaigns. It's a great way to thank your longtime customers. Again, it's another way for you to measure, for your customers, if you create a loyalty reward, a special offer for, previous clients, you're able to see, who comes back and redeems that reward. And again, it's building that brand awareness, that community building with your clients by saying thank you. Here's something special for you for all of your support over the year. And also, if you offer gift cards, it's a great time to run promotions for, easy to give gifts or to use it throughout next year. And here are just some tips on how to promote something like that. Utilize if you have an email, if you have social media, if you use text messaging or any other forms of communications for your clients. Again, research some of those hashtags that are, really specific, one to your location, two to that shop local or support small business. You could just do that if you do hashtag and you look into the specific platforms, type a few different hashtags in, see which ones are frequently used. And again, it just helps with clients finding you there. And again, always think about partnerships and collaboration. Is there another local business that you can offer, a joint offer? If someone, within close proximity. You can offer, a bundled gift or bundled services. Just think of some creative, unique ways. And again, when you have one or two or more businesses collaborating, you're really cross promoting and sharing, your brand with their audiences. So now's a really good time to really build that community and just think about some creative ways. And again, go check out that guide and you can find some additional ideas there as well. And you can think about holiday offers. And here's just some tips on thinking about, the messaging for it. Anytime you can tell your story, or even better, tell a customer story or share one of their testimonials, that really comes across with such a more human um, touch point versus something that just says, oh, 20% off this holiday season, right? You can message it by saying, thank you for supporting local. Thank you for supporting a small business. Telling that story through either it's your social media content, emails you send to your customers, reels, carousels. Think of how that messaging just stands out a little bit more. Another example, buy one, get one. We see that often. Think about give a gift, get a gift. Or, a lot of times small businesses might do a percentage, to a local nonprofit or something in their community. Again, think about different ways that you can, utilize your offer, or even if it's just your services, if discounts, don't align right now for your business. But think about how you can use messaging to really create that storytelling and tell your brand and communicate that with your customer. And again, even if it's just going back to, supporting local, supporting your small business, thanking them, again, that really provides just that much more of a human touch point. And you're making the customer really see, by supporting your small business, the difference that they're making. So just think about that as you're maybe considering a final promotion for the year or a holiday offer, again, if it aligns with your business. And you also want to celebrate everything that you've accomplished this year. And this is important for a couple ways. One, you have to celebrate your wins. Wherever you're at here in this Q4, we're here. Think about all of the successes that you've had and highlight that. This is building social proof. It's showing potential customers that, oh, okay, other clients have worked with you, purchased your product, subscribe to your service. And this is the great experience that they had. So some examples that you can do is, create a blog post or a carousel for social media, or a reel that's, the past year in review. Think about maybe some events you participated in, or, a new product or new service you launched. Just think about some things that, were really great this past year. And that can be a potential, piece of content that you share. Another easy thing you can do is thank your customers. Thank them for supporting your journey this year. That really goes such a long way. To even expand upon that, pay it forward. Do you have any business partners that you've worked with this year that either, really came through, you needed that delivery or that, thing done overnight and they got it there for you, or you collaborated on an event. Think about that. Even if it's just something more private where you send them a note or send them a nice email. Thanking anybody that supported you this past year really goes a long way. And, if you do have a team, think about all the great things that your team has accomplished to get you there. Even family and friends that have supported you. Now's a really great time to say, thank you for supporting me, in my business journey. And again, just building that relationship with, all of the important people within your business and within your life. And I do want to spend some time on, if you create something that's, a 2025 recap reel, here's all the things that we've done. Prompt your followers, say, comment on your favorite moment, comment on your favorite product this year, share your experience. Now's a really great time to be thinking about your strategy going into 2026 and focusing on testimonials and reviews. I'm going to just spend some time on this. We'll incorporate that later when we're thinking about our marketing plan for the new year. But I just want to, stop and pause. That is so important, especially for your new customers. What's the first thing when they're looking at your business that they're going to do? They're going to, check you out online. They're going to look at your Google business profile. They're going to look at your social media. They're going to look at your website. Think about your strategy for really boosting any of your client reviews, whether that's on Facebook, Google, testimonials you feature on your website. You really want to come up with a strategy on doing that. Now could be a good time, if you do have customers that you communicate with, you can do something as simple as having a QR code to your Facebook page or to your Google business page, um, and have that at your front desk or, at the, signature in your email, leave me a positive review. Think about strategies on how to do that. If you're just starting out in business, think about your first couple of customers. And you can ask them, would you mind, leaving me a positive review anytime you're out on a service call or doing a consultation or, someone makes a purchase. Think about implementing that, even if it's not over the Q4. If you feel like, oh, it's not an appropriate time, you want to be thinking about building that because it's going to be so important moving forward, growing your business into the new year. So just wanted to stop and take some time on your strategy for building reviews, testimonials. Again, so important for your digital strategy and for your marketing plan going into 2026. Also, think about building your email list. Even if you do not have an email platform right now, you're not sending out promotional emails to your clients or your customers, it might be something to think about. It can be your most valuable digital asset. And especially moving into the new year, I keep feeling I'm getting ahead of myself talking about our 2026 marketing plan. But think about building your email list. Now, word of caution, you can't just take emails that you have and just start sending promotional emails out. You don't want to spam your clients or customers. If you utilize a platform, it will have a page where someone does have to subscribe to it. If you meet people in person, you can say, um, you know, think about putting a QR code or a link on the back of your business card or flyers or brochures you distribute. You can have a button on your homepage, call that out right at the top, subscribe to our newsletter. We'll talk about, the value on that. And what are some ways that you could kind of boost it, especially now through the year-end giveaways? You can offer what's called a lead magnet. You probably hear this a lot. It's really just a free downloadable item, a benefit. It could be a coupon. You see that a lot for a newsletter subscription. How could you promote that? And it doesn't have to be something, that's really costly, right? It could be a checklist. If you're an event planner, it could be, here's a checklist for the, top steps when you're planning your 2026 event. Here's a checklist if you're getting ready to do this next year in regards to your specific industry. It could be a guide on, here's how to, something related to your business or industry. It could just be, a free consultation, free 15-minute phone call to discuss your product or service. Just something you can do. It could be 10% off, some sort of, again, lead magnet. You're drawing people in to subscribing to your email. You can promote that on social media. It can be a pop-up on your website if you have one. It could be something, again, that you're giving out. It could be a QR code at your front desk or your point of sale in your business. And then, taking that a step further, you can think about now that if you're focusing on getting new emails in, again, utilizing shop small, supporting local, tying this all together, Then you can think about all of those emails you're getting, setting up an email sequence going into January. Again, continuing that marketing momentum. If they sign up, they get the thank you email, the link or the email that provides the offer that you were promising, right? Then it's going to go right into January. Setting your goals. Here's how our product or service can help you. Here's maybe another, maybe it's a 10% or some sort of offer for your first purchase in January. You kind of want to think about a sequence of emails to follow that up. You're not just, giving them the lead magnet that they wanted, the 10% off. Think about continuing their journey. You're building the brand awareness. Maybe you're just sending an email that offers tips, if it's, goal setting or intention setting for next year. You're just kind of thinking about taking them through that journey, continuing that brand awareness, building that loyalty and trust as we go into January. So again, it's just something to think about in your strategy as you're continuing that momentum. All of these customers are, coming in to support you during this time. You're supporting local. Then maybe you're taking them through, thanking them, and then now you're going to help them as they go into the new year. So just think about that strategy as you're, again, moving from Q4 into the new year and how you're building the momentum. You're not, halting marketing. Your customers don't hear from you. It's very easy to get overwhelmed, get behind as we're starting the new year. And this is the time to really, plan that strategy and get ahead. And we're going to start the new year with a lot of energy, clarity, and goal setting for that. And to kind of close on Q4, um, even if it's 30 minutes, sit down and take some time. It's really important for a small business owner to know your marketing efforts. Even if you don't handle it, if it's someone on your team or you hire a freelancer, an agency, you want to do a year-end audit. This is going to establish a baseline for goal setting into 2026. It's also going to give you a lot of information to base decisions. Take a look at it. And it's also, if you attend my colleague's presentation later this month and in December on finances or anything with wrapping it up business operations wise, it's a great time to do a year-end audit. Anyway, I'm just going to talk about marketing for today. But anything that you can get analytics from. It can be social media. There's a lot of insights you can get there. If you send emails, whatever platform you use, you'll get a lot of insights there. What emails perform the best? What link did everybody click on? Look at your social media. What were your top 3 performing posts? Okay, you can repurpose them. What was it about them? Was it the content? Was it that you did a video instead of graphics? Was it the time of day? Was it the topic you discussed? Think about the trends, think about the reasoning behind that. And again, the saying is don't, recreate the wheel. I'll say don't recreate the reel for marketing. If you had some really great content, keep doing it. Keep using that and build your momentum. If you have a website, you can really get a lot of great details if you have Google Analytics set up for your website or, within whichever platform you use. You can get a lot of analytics through there. What pages are people visiting? What's the journey? Are they typing in your website directly? Is it direct? Are they coming through, your listing on a Chamber of Commerce website, or maybe you were featured in a news article this year and you're getting a lot of traffic through there? Those analytics are going to be able to tell you that. And it's so important because this is how you're going to make a lot of your decisions. Where are we going to spend a lot of our time on? Is there you might have a Facebook, a LinkedIn, an Instagram, you have a ton of social media platforms. Which ones are you having the best success in? Maybe it's let's focus on 1 or 2 of them this year, and maybe we'll spend our other time doing more B2B networking. Maybe we'll do some more time really, boosting our website and concentrating on SEO, or maybe we'll take that budget and maybe do some online ads or participate in some more community events. Really think about over this past year, what really worked? What are areas on improvement? If you're just launching your business for the new year, we can, think about, where do you want to be a year from now? But really take the time. Again, it can take 30 minutes, 60 minutes, really look at all of your marketing and did it pay off? I would suggest do this at the end of every month moving forward. That's where you can really catch any areas that you can improve upon or that you can pivot, especially if you're putting dollars behind it. Advertising, you're paying for different subscriptions or platforms. You don't want to go a whole year and you've been paying for something and you haven't been, receiving the ROI. Set some time at the end of each month to recap. Again, what really went well? Where are areas I can improve upon? Where can I focus my time and my money for my marketing? Where are my leads coming from? This will really help you as you're moving throughout the year, just continuing to be successful, growing your business, building your brand awareness, connecting with your audience. And again, use an Excel sheet, use a template, put it on a piece of paper, whatever works for you. Kind of get some baseline data. Look at, how many new followers did I get this year? How many visits to my website did I get? How many reviews did I get? Anything that you can put numbers to, document that now, and then you'll be able to really see month by month, how are you growing? How are you reaching your overall goals? You can't do it if you're not tracking it. And especially now with so much data available, use it to your advantage to really make some informed decisions and be able to pivot on all of those. So now let's get into looking at 2026. I'll take a pause. Now's a great time. If it's something that you really want to work with a consultant on, doesn't have to just be marketing, could be an overall business plan. Business plans aren't just for new businesses. If you've been in business for decades, you want to, think about your growth, think about expanding. Now's a great time right now in November. So again, think about working with your local SBDC, maybe considering some consulting, or again, our networks have a ton of webinars coming up, programs, resources for you. So now's a great time, you know, before we're getting into December, when it's, really busy, think about your brand purpose and what are you trying to achieve. So think about your mission, your vision, your brand promise. You really want to think about like, what's my impact for the new year? Where do you want your business to be? If you've been in business for a while, go back and look at what your mission is and your vision. You know, how can you expand upon it? How can you do it even better? And you want to make sure that, again, go back to that visual with the marketing umbrella. Every single thing you're doing that's a touch point to your customer or a touch point to a stakeholder um, is communicating your vision, your mission, what your brand promise is. You want to maintain consistency. Of course, it's something as, simple as, my website, uh, you know, visually looks similar to social media content. Yes. But again, you want to make sure that customers or anyone dealing with your company over the phone, in person, via email is getting that same brand promise that you want to uphold. Just so important because that's building the trust and you want to have those repeat customers, those repeat, B2B relationships just grow into the new year. So now's a good time, you know, again, maybe while you're looking back on 2025 to think about, where do I want to go into the new year? It's so important to have that vision, to have those goals. And then this way we can come up with a plan to achieve them. And now's a great time, we're 8 weeks out from January, to come up with your marketing plan. When we think about it, I do feel a bit of overwhelm. Maybe you do too, but it's okay. We're going to show you the steps to get there, and we're going to break it down into 90-day plans again to keep moving forward, keep reaching toward your goals. It doesn't have to be a huge goal, but what's really going to make a difference for your business when it comes to marketing. And again, align it with your business goals. If there's something you want to achieve with your business, the marketing helps, complement that and again, move that forward. So now's a really great time. Again, we have several weeks. Let's get that into place. And we're going to show you how to do that. So again, annual plan, quarterly goals. Think about 1 to 3 big goals for the year. Start with the end in mind. Where do you want to be this time next year? Okay, here's one goal I want to achieve. Maybe you want to go up to 3. Don't want to go beyond that too much. But those are the big overall goals. Okay, now we want to get them into quarterly focus areas. 90 days, we're going to have specific areas, specific smaller goals that we're going to reach. And again, anything that comes to your marketing, your campaigns, the emails you're sending, blog posts, events you're attending, promotions you're having, it's supporting that quarter's focus. It's going back to that overall goal that you're trying to achieve. So again, start with the end in mind. Where do you want to be this time next year? What's the strategies to help you achieve it? And then what are those specific steps, those tasks? We refer to them as tactics in the next slide that we're going to have to take. When we break it down into those smaller steps, it becomes a lot more manageable for you. Again, marketing is just one piece of your overall business operations. If you're a solopreneur, you have a small team, you really want to just, again, be really strategic with your time and your budget. You don't want to get into burnout. You don't want to get into overwhelm, but you're able to do this in small steps to really, reach those big goals. And here's the tool that we usually start with. If you work with any of our business consultants, they'll give you a similar tool called a business plan canvas. We call it our marketing plan canvas. And again, it's just visually breaking down those things. We can provide this in the email after this presentation today. If you can, type into it, or if you just want to write on it, put that big goal down. What do you want to achieve? I want to have 1,000 new email subscribers this year, or I want to grow my customer retention by 20%. Whatever that big marketing goal is, make sure it's aligning with your overall business goals. And that's what we're going to achieve this year. Put that down. Okay, who? Who's your audience? Who's your ideal customer that you want to reach? You always, again, want to go back to that. It's so important because that's going to inform all of your decisions on how are you communicating with those customers, how are you getting them, and how are you building your awareness to those ideal audiences? How are you building that loyalty, that trust? You eventually want to get them to be, the clients that are leaving you the 5-star Google reviews, and now they're telling their family and friends, and you're getting that, what I call marketing gold, the best, marketing there is when your customers become your ambassadors. So we want to have that goal in mind. Okay, so now what are the strategies we're going to put behind it? Is it going to be digital marketing? Or are we going to update or create a website? Are we going to really think about, I need to increase my community awareness, so I'm going to do a lot of community events or host events, at my location, a lot of messaging around, my brick and mortar business. Are you more B2B and you want to grow in that? I'm going to join some associations or chambers or participate in networking events. We come up with the different strategies again to support the goal, make sure we're reaching the who, the audience. Then we get into those tactics, which are the smaller tasks. I want to enhance my social media. I'm going to come up with each month a content calendar that's going to communicate those things. This actual tasks. I'm going to purchase the membership to this association and attend 2 networking events a month. Those specific tactics. I'm going to update my website and make it SEO and GEO enhanced and optimized. Those specific small tasks that you or your team can do each month to reach those goals. And you always want to put a deadline on it. This way, you know that you're completing it. If you're meeting, an issue with meeting that, then maybe you need to just think about giving yourself more time, but it keeps you on track, keeps you accountable, and then how you're going to measure that. So think about any analytics that can support it. You're going to get this many business cards from your in-person networking. You're going to, try to get 10% website traffic increase based on my optimization goals. I want to get this many increase in engagement on my social platforms because I'm really going to concentrate on my social media content this year. I'm going to get 5 new 5-star Google reviews because all this quarter, I'm just going to focus on, you know, boosting my testimonial and my reviews. Whatever that is, just come up with how you're going to measure it. So this way, at the end of the quarter, you can easily go back, pull that data, and see, all of the positives and where you can improve for the next quarter. So again, this is just the canvas. This is where we then, it's the map to, creating your bigger plan for the entire year. We have to start somewhere, get those ideas and goals down, and then move forward from there. So here's just an example on a quarterly focus. If you're thinking about like, how would I break it up by quarter? Okay, here are some ways. Q1, I just want to build brand awareness and I want to start an email list. So again, all of my marketing is going to support that. Then, maybe in Q2, um, I'm going to think about like launching my new product or service, or, I'm going to launch a new social media channel or something like that. It doesn't have to be this is just an example of how you can kind of frame it for your business. Then maybe in Q3 you're going to think about community building, engagement. Next fall, I'm going to be doing a lot of events or, really getting involved in the community. And then Q4, thinking about holiday sales, small business Saturday, building that customer loyalty. Again, this is just an example of how you can, map out your annual marketing plan. Certainly tailor it to your specific business, your specific industry, what makes sense. If you're seasonal, it could be very different. If, certain quarters, because of your industry, are your busy ones, it might be different from other industries. Again, really kind of tailor it specifically to your business. And then again, from there, then you build out your 90-day game plans. Okay, so for right now, November, think about all next year. Here's your overall goal. Okay, let's start with first quarter. We're going to, really kickstart it. We're not going to get into overwhelm. We're not going to let it be, lose momentum out of the holidays. We're going to take advantage of that intent. January is a high intent month. Everyone's thinking about these are the changes I'm going to make. These are the goals I want to set. Really leverage that. How is your business? How is your service? How your product going to help your customers meet their goals? And tell them that, right? So set a campaign. Everyone hears about New Year, New You in January. So kind of like craft all your marketing and messaging around that, or goal setting, or, whatever makes sense. And again, aligns with your business, aligns with your industry. Here's again, just examples if it just helps with the brainstorming part. February, I don't know, Valentine's Day, love your business. There's a lot of different themes. You can search online with different holidays, different things that happen in each month. Maybe in March, especially if you're thinking about your specific industry, it's kind of when you're launching into spring. Again, if that makes sense, depending on your industry, it might be some specific things happening. Again, tailor it so it complements your business. And what you do is you just make sure that all of your content, your emails, any advertising you're doing, again, supports that monthly theme, which then is supporting your, 90-day quarter. Again, going back to that overall goal that you want to achieve for the year. So it's just a smaller way of achieving your goals as you move through. And now is a good time to think about January. Again, just thinking about how do you want to start the year off. While you have time, we're 8 weeks out, get through, prioritize if you haven't started any kind of November, December, close out Q4, Think about what you want to do, set a goal for that, and then start thinking about planning your January content now. It's so easy. I've done it myself. January 1 comes and it's like, oh my gosh, now I'm out of ideas. What am I going to do? I'm losing the momentum. I'm totally overwhelmed. I didn't post today. Uh, 1 week goes by and then it's already off to a slow start. So now's a good time. We have, a couple weeks. Think about how you want to start the year. Plan your January content. And there's tools to do that. If you want to do a couple blog posts, if you do that, or reels, email sequences, start again thinking about your Q1 strategy. How do you want to, kickstart January? Focus on maybe this year, formative messaging, here's how to grow in 2026. Just think about the themes for that. How's it tie into your marketing goals? And then you can actually schedule the content ahead. So how do you do that? Well, one, a tip for creating content is what's called batch content creation. Think about if you're baking cookies, you're gathering all the ingredients. You're not just going to bake just one cookie, right? You're going to make a whole batch of them. So that's what you can do with your content, right? You can gather all the ingredients and up with that one overall campaign. This is my one blog post for the month, or my one piece of content, or my one theme, or campaign that I'm going to focus on. Then you can break that up into smaller pieces of content. So from there, maybe you can craft, your newsletters. If you send 1, 2, 3 throughout the month, it's kind of all going back to that main campaign. Then you can take that, blog post or that email you send and, break that into smaller bite-sized content for social media. Could be a couple quick little videos, behind the scenes, new product features, making some graphics. If you get one of those content or client testimonials, you can use that. Just again, thinking about that overall campaign, breaking it into smaller pieces of content, and really looking at the January calendar and planning it out. You can use tools to schedule it ahead. If you send emails, a lot of those platforms, have the capability where you can set the specific date and time to schedule the email out. You can utilize a lot of the social media platforms also have within the platform itself that you can schedule posts ahead of time. Now, a lot of them are offering kind of AI enhanced times or suggested times to schedule that content based on your audience and the algorithm and what times are most popular. There's also other platforms where you can kind of condense all of your social media platforms and schedule out from there. What's the point of scheduling content ahead of time? Again, it's alleviating that day to day. You're trying to run your business. The last thing maybe today you have time for is posting a video reel and thinking of the caption and tagging everybody and using the hashtags. If you just take that, maybe one day each month to do your social content, you write your email, you write your blog, you schedule it, it's good to go. Again, it's just saving you that time, focusing in, condensing that content and really just getting it scheduled ahead. Now you have your game plan for Q1. All right, this is what I'm going to post in January. You have a couple weeks to think about it, create those graphics or create those, videos, and you can schedule it ahead. One thing, I want to just, word of caution for scheduling. I think it's great. It's so awesome, especially when it's that week and you're like, I don't have to worry about, social media for this week. It's all scheduled out. Just some things I've seen in the past, some things that have happened to me. Just always be mindful. And even if you're not scheduling it, just make sure you're in contact with, the person on your team, or if you use a freelancer or agency, just in case something happens. You just want to be able to, if you need to quickly unschedule it or change it to a different day, that you're just staying up to date on what's happening. I'll give you a brief example. Say you have a storefront on a street and just, say, I don't want this to happen, but say, over this time, there's a water main break on your street, traffic shut down, or, something happens like that. You don't want to have it post schedule that's, messaging, come down and, stroll our corridor, or something like that. That's just one example. my point is just when you're scheduling content, you just want to be mindful of the content that you're messaging. And if there is something that happens or occurs, that you're quickly able to unschedule it, move it to a different day, edit the wording. Um, Again, if you want to talk to a consultant, or there's a lot of webinars available, we have those resources. But again, scheduling is really great, cuts down a lot of time. Just always keep in the back of your mind, just be paying attention to what's happening, what did I put in there, should I just move it to a different day, or next week, in case something like that happens. I just felt like I had to share that, um, just to message that as we're planning our content. So again, what are some ideas or things that we can think about? January, are you launching new products or services? Do you want to, reflect on the past year? Do you want to share your goals? This is what I want to, achieve this year. How about you? Just think of some things, again, that aligns with your business. If you don't usually post that content, think about what you usually post. How does that really, communicate to your audience? And just think about different topics. Again, you can pre-plan social media. New year, we're still local. We're still using local ingredients. We're still delivering local. Um, here's our promise to you. This is what we did in 2025. Here's what we're going to do in 2026. So again, just different ideas when thinking about your January content. Again, keep in mind your industry. You can use any type of holidays, national observances, different things that really align with your business for different content ideas. And I know we're coming up on time. Just want to recap again for continuing your marketing momentum. It's a crucial time right now. Let's finish the year strong, and then, launch even stronger in 2026. So to recap, think about Small Business Saturday. Does that align with your business? If so, we have a lot of resources and tools to do so. Think about running a final campaign before the year's over, whether that's going to try to get some, sell some additional product, get some service subscriptions, boost my email, whatever your goal is. Do your year-end marketing audit, take a look at what worked, what didn't, how can we do better next year? Start planning your marketing plan for 2026. Better to do it now. You'll have your clear vision for the new year. And again, our center can help you achieve those goals. And then think about your January content now. Don't let it be January 1st. Uh-oh, I have to post my New Year's post. Now I have to think about the whole month. Let's think about it now. We have plenty of time. Put it down on one of those content calendars, whatever works best for you. So this way we can move forward in the new year with clarity, intention, energy, and momentum to achieve those goals. And please, if you want to connect with us, we're on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We post all of our upcoming programs and webinars and training. Sign up for our newsletter. Here's our QR code if you want to subscribe to that. We send out monthly resources and upcoming events, opportunities we hear about for small businesses in Philadelphia and Montgomery County. And we also have a great YouTube page. If you enjoyed this webinar or want to learn about any other aspect of business, check out our YouTube page at Temple SBDC videos. There are tons of webinars pre-recorded where you can learn more about different topics related to your business. So thank you so much for joining us today. Really enjoyed the conversation, and reach out to our business if you'd like to learn more.
So hi, Gabby.
Hi.
Sorry, Gabriella. Yeah. So there are a couple of questions in the Q&A chat. So
Sure.
I don't know if you can open the.
Yes, I will answer those. Okay. Can the marketing principles also apply to consultants without a brick and mortar? Of course, absolutely. You can really take just those general ideas, principles, and really, put that into your own words and apply that to your business. Certainly, if you're a consultant, um, you can message how, whether you have a smaller firm, you're an independent consultant, and you can use those same types of strategies for your business. A lot of times we do traditionally think about the brick and mortar, retail shop or cafe, but you can really apply that to your business depending on whatever your content is. So if you are maybe more B2B, you might really want to leverage your LinkedIn during this time, and talk about, maybe you work with some other um, local businesses. Again, you can kind of use the month to say, here are some of the other partners that I have, other consultants or businesses that I work with. Maybe you use a tech company, or you use a marketing agency to create your business cards, or I'm just coming up with some ideas. But you could kind of use those strategies and take advantage of the whole month again, and really show how does your business, going back to what's unique, what do you offer that's different, unique, better suited for your clients than maybe some of your competitors. And you can think about, how do you message that, and how do you highlight your services, especially when people are thinking about, Small Business Saturday, supporting local. You're a consultant here in your community. It's not, you're here, you understand the local market or the local area that you consult on, and how can you highlight that? So yes, absolutely can use those same. And then you also had said same type of business with like suggestions on how to promote a service business, virtual only. Sure. So again, you can utilize those basic concepts. So think about, how do you communicate your story? If you're only offering, services virtual, that's great. There's your clients who are looking for that. They want virtual service. They don't want brick and mortar or in person. They want a virtual type of service. So you can communicate that on, how are you reaching them? How are they finding you? I'm going to likely think it's mostly digital if they're preferring a virtual service. Are you using the correct channels? Do you have an email list? Are they on LinkedIn or some specific social media platform? What does your website look like, right? That is the new storefront, especially if you're an online business, virtual business, service business. What's your website look like? Are you optimizing that for SEO, or what they're calling now GEO, which is all of the generative searches using AI tools? Are you optimizing your website, again, to be found by your customers? There's a lot of resources for that. There's a lot of things you can do to improve that, but your website's likely, your digital storefront. It's open 24/7, and you want to leverage that as much as you can. So kind of think about the different, again, channels that you can use, and optimize that. But again, you're also sharing, right, that human side, that if they're going to work with you, they're going to get that customer service, whatever that looks like in, a virtual type of service. Can they get in contact with you if they need to troubleshoot, book an appointment? It's all seamless. Again, thinking about customer experience, especially if it's relying on tech, or virtual, just making sure that there's no pain points if they're looking to schedule an appointment, utilize an online platform. Are you, offering some, toolkits for people if you have a virtual service or a web-based service, that they can easily use that? So again, it's just implementing all of those kind of tactics, and applying it to your business. But again, you want to think about your customer. How are you meeting them? Communicating your goals, communicating your benefits, how you're solving their problem, um, and then making sure that you're connecting that with your customer. I'll keep going. I see that there's a few more messages. Okay. Yes, you can sign up for a consultation. In the email that you'll receive after this, just fill it out. It'll ask for some information on your business, as well as indicate which area you would like to focus on. Again, doesn't have to be marketing. It can be any area of your business, but that will be included. And I'm sorry you're getting that error. Let me quick drop it into the chat, um, and try again. but I will put a link to our website, which should also have links, and I will double check if it's something on our end for signing up for consulting. But I will drop that into the chat as well. And again, I apologize for any issue on finding that, but I also just put it into the chat to sign up for consulting services. And then I can also put in a direct link to that guide that we were discussing as well, and that can also be included in the follow-up email. And I just dropped that in as well. So please let me know if you do have any issues. And while we have a few minutes, if there's any more questions, happy to take them, but also just want to thank everyone for joining us today. Again, we have a lot more webinars coming up throughout the rest of this month, and we look forward to supporting your business and helping you grow and achieve your goals.
Hi, Gabriella.
Hi.
So there are specific questions in the Q questions and
Sure.
answer chat box. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yes. So I apologize, and I will get to those. Okay. Photos. Yes. So depending on whatever tools that you use, it often will include photos that you can use, whether you use Canva. There's a lot of other stock images. Definitely for your marketing as a small business, please be mindful. Don't just like Google images and use those. Photographers, organizations will follow up if you're using their work for advertising, promotional, social media. So there are a couple different platforms that you can use. Canva's one thing, Adobe. There's a lot of different creative things. Sometimes it will come with a cost for a subscription to be able to use those images for marketing purposes. But there are cost-effective and affordable solutions for that. I'm going to look at promotions or bundling for service businesses. You can think about if there's not like specific products, maybe it's bundling a set of services depending on your business. Do you offer different types of services? Is there something to bundle for that? If it makes sense for your business, do you think about, locking in your 2025 rate now, through the next year? Again, thinking about, that goes into your accounting, your budgeting, but those types of things. Can you bundle different types of services that you offer together? Or is there a complementary business that you want to think about? Maybe you're bundling those two services. Maybe it's not sure what type of service business you are. I'm thinking like HR, payroll, those types of things. Is there something that you can put together? Social media, hashtag shop local. Okay. Yes, those hashtags are found mostly, they're used on TikTok, Instagram. Facebook does use hashtags. They're not prioritized within their algorithm. How do you create it for a business? So you can create one hashtag that's specific to your business. For example, I'll use our center, hashtag Temple SBDC. More often than not, we're the ones that are using that. But if anybody's interested in finding any of our content, they can go to that hashtag and kind of pull it up, and you'll see any of our posts that we used. As a business, you also want to take advantage of hashtags because that's how people online are finding content. So for example, the hashtag shop local, if you look at that hashtag and scroll through the posts that are tagged that, you'll likely see things from all over the world that are focusing on local businesses. So that's where you also want to pair, in addition to that shop local, your specific location if it makes sense to your business. So say if you are in Montgomery County, you're in Ambler or Montgo, that's where you also want to then pair your specific location to the hashtag. So hashtag shop local, Monco. And if you search those different hashtags, you're able to find what are the most popular ones for your area. So Philly, that's likely going to have a lot of, be a popular hashtag. If you are in a specific neighborhood, you might even want to include that too. Hashtag shop local, insert neighborhood, maybe shop local Philly. So that's how you can kind of utilize those. You want to use hashtags that are widely used, but that are also specific to your business, right? You want people in your area to find you so that way they support you. And then kind of build from there. And again, the general rule of thumb, Instagram used to post like a block of hashtags. Um, they're saying right now 3 to 5 to focus on. So having maybe one that's specific to your business, two that are using either that shop local or shop small if you're pairing it specifically to the shop local campaign, and then also seeing are there ones that are specifically for your area, if that makes sense for you. And I'm sorry for going over time. I just want to make sure that I'm answering all the questions. Strategies to developing an email list for a service business. Sure. So emails are so important. Um, Research indicates the most recent thing I saw was Data and Marketing Association. They said that for every dollar invested in email marketing, the ROI is $36. Sometimes it's even higher for other industries. So how can you develop it? First, you want to think about what platform are you going to use for your email list. There's many out there, and there's many out there that will offer a free subscription. Usually it's based on the amount of emails that you have. So sometimes if it's under 300 emails, 500 emails, you can get a free subscription to it. You can build out your email templates. So kind of identify which template do you want to use. Find ones that are, a lot of them will have a free tutorial, a free demo. Spend some time, see what you feel comfortable with. Again, be very specific on the subscription rates. Is it, 1 month for free and then they're going to charge you? Be very clear on that. Fit your budget. Strategy to then, who are you going to send it to? If you're a service business, anybody you come in contact with, any, customers you already have, you can send them a link. Within the platform, it'll allow for people to subscribe directly to it. So that's your strategy. Anything that you're putting out there, if you have a website, you can right at the top put subscribe to email. You see it all the time. Put that on your website so that way you're getting anybody on your website can subscribe to your email list. If you have social media, you can do a whole campaign. Q1, I'm going to build my email list, come up with graphics, put QR codes that takes you to the link to subscribe, takes you to the web page that subscribes. If you have LinkedIn, you can build it into your LinkedIn profile. When you pull it up, underneath it'll say, subscribe to newsletter, sign up for my email. You're able to utilize LinkedIn for that. That's a really smart way, especially if you're mostly B2B, and really connecting that way. So using social media, using your any kind of marketing channel. Again, if you have a service business and you have people maybe coming in person, having that QR code, or if you have a business card on the back of it, you have a QR code for people that says subscribe to my newsletter, right? You could put it in there. Then you want to come up with the content. What type of email content do you want to share? Is it tips? It doesn't just have to be sales. And I'm sure you receive emails where all it is sales. You want to be helpful. This is where you can build that loyalty with your audience. Maybe you're offering advice. Maybe you're saying thank you to your customers. Maybe you're offering a checklist if it's, applies to your service business. Here's what to do to prepare for our first consultation. Here was us in our community. We had a table at this local festival. Thank you to our community for supporting us. So there's all different kinds of content. It doesn't always have to be sales, book an appointment, subscribe to our service. You can educate. You can, again, you're building that loyalty and it's your direct communication. With all of these digital channels, you have third parties that are influencing your communication to your customers, right? Algorithms, web traffic, are they finding your website? But with the email list, they're subscribing to get your content. So that is your direct line of communication to them. And that's how you can really build that trust. So it's something to think about. It can be your most valuable digital asset when it comes to an email list. But again, make sure you're getting that subscription to your list. You don't want to just start spamming and sending emails. A lot, depending on the email platform you select, you can create a landing page. And again, I'm sure if you've subscribed to emails, you see it, you type in your information, you click the box that you agree to receive email communications, and put that in there. This way you don't have to worry about anyone, saying that you spam them or anything like that. So pick the platform, think about your content, any channel that you have, focus on it. It's a great Q1 goal to set that you're going to, establish and grow your email list. And again, here to help you with that. The most important piece of advice to take away from this webinar, and again, I apologize for going over time. It's definitely to be mindful and strategic with your marketing. And that can go into any area of your business. Track your goals. That review is essential to goal set for anything in your business. You want to make sure you can track everything, whether it's just total sales for this year, or maybe your goal is, I'm going to set up the tools to measure things. How many phone calls did we receive to our business? How many consults did we have? Anything digital should have that analytics built into it. You can see how many followers you have, your engagement, email open rates, website traffic. If you have an app, if you send text messaging, you should be able to get all of that there. And it can be anything that you track on paper. Total sales, total inquiries, how many emails did you get? Anything like that. Make sure you're tracking it, and that's informing your decisions. And then again, reviewing consistently and not waiting a whole year. Many times I see, you can subscribe, pay for, invest in things, and most importantly, your time. You can spend so much time creating content that's taking away from other areas of your business. You really want to be strategic, and reviewing that consistently. Maybe it's every month, every quarter. You're able to quickly adapt and change and pivot, and improve. And then that's what keeps you, moving forward and hitting those goals. Um, so I hope that was able to answer everyone's question. Thank you all for staying on for that. Um, and we will double check the link. I'm sorry for the consulting, but we will include that also in the follow-up email.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gabriella.
You're
And
welcome.
yeah, I posted the survey link in the chat, so we'll be glad if everyone will go through it and then complete the survey for us. So yeah, thank you for having us. Thank you for the presentation, Gabriella.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, have a great day. Bye.